How are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today, and welcome to Globus. Hi, future Hannah. Hope it's going well. Today's candle of the day is whipped coffee from Bath & Body Works. We just lit this one. She's a new one to the family. Not sure how I feel about her yet, but definitely promising based on like not burning. Like the coffee smell for some reason is so strong. Like I have my little, it's not a candle closet. I feel like I say candle closet and people think I'm nuts. I am nuts, but like it's not a full closet. It's like a shelf in my closet. Let's call it the candle shelf. On my candle shelf, when I open my closet to like get to it, all I could smell was coffee for the past like 3 weeks. And I was like, I gotta burn this one. She seems strong, passionate. She's independent. She's powerful. Anyway, so today I love end of the year content. It's probably my favorite content to film, my favorite content to watch. I love roundups of a year. I love the endings, the new beginnings. Like I love all of that. So today I wanted to film a video that I was very excited about, which is talking about makeup launches that I completely forgot about from the year of 2021. There's a few reasons I want to do this. Number one, it's always fun to roast things that were bad. Let's get that out of the way. It's petty. Sometimes I like roasting things, okay? It's kind of fun. Number two, and the more valuable reason I like to do this, is because a lot of times we see certain makeup launches and in our brains we're like, oh my God, at least I do this. I'm like, oh my God, I want this so bad. I would use this all the time. I need this product. And then you don't end up buying it for whatever reason. Like for me, it's usually just like, I don't want to spend the money. It's not convenient to buy, whatever the reason is, I don't end up getting it. And then I completely forget about it. There is makeup, and this could be a whole separate video, that has like haunted my dreams. Like there is makeup that I haven't bought, and for months I could not stop thinking about it because I just thought it was so beautiful and awesome. But I feel like there are also products, and it's important to recognize the products that we initially wanted but really just completely forgot they existed very shortly after they launched. I'm obviously a consumer, but I like to do things to sort of check in on my consumerism, to be like, hey, you wanted that, you completely forgot that it existed. Why? Because maybe that'll help me from purchasing stuff in the future that I might really want in the moment, but down the line I'm just not even gonna think of when I'm like reaching into my makeup drawers. The third reason I wanted to do this is because I feel like so many launches happen and the makeup market is so saturated that it makes a lot of sense that as basic makeup consumers we would forget a good number of these launches. So I also just wanted to see if anybody else completely forgot about the existence of these. So I went back all the way to Trend Mood's January 1st post, and I scrolled all the way through 2021, and anything I saw that I was like, what? I screenshotted it. The funny thing was, a lot of this stuff I know for a fact were in my Yas or Pass videos, which I just think is so funny because like obviously I had an opinion on them and then had the opinion and then completely forgot about their existence. There's a lot more towards the beginning of the year because obviously stuff that came out recently, not a lot of time has passed, but like let's go back to the beginning of the year and see what we actually remember that launched this year. This was the very first thing I wanted to talk about because I remember, this is like this one right here. Perfect example of a product I absolutely lusted after, like wanted so badly in the moment that I literally saw it and was like, what? And then I remembered everything after seeing it and I was like, oh my God, so glad I didn't buy that. This is a Chanel blush duo. The thing about this duo, it's not that it like is bad. It's objectively pretty. And I've talked before how Chanel's makeup packaging in particular is just so sleek and like super bougie that I really love it. Like I love how like aesthetically pleasing the Chanel logo and the Chanel packaging are. I think ultimately this is something that I likely would have been buying mostly just because it was Chanel. There's no real evidence to support that this would have been like an out of this world's blush, you know, compact, or it would have been something that I would gravitate towards all the time. I do think the colors would have worked well for me, especially if I like mixed them together. I think this could have been a really pretty hue, but there's nothing to say that this would have been worth the egregious price point that this had on it. A lot of times in makeup, and this is something I really tried to work on in 2021, is not falling for things just because they're pretty. Because at the end of the day, most makeup is pretty. Like you can find really beautiful, pretty products from pretty much every brand. Most brands and most launches have something about them that makes them like aesthetically pleasing and beautiful. And so you're like, oh my God, I want a pretty thing. So you buy it. But this is a great example of something that like would have easily fallen to the back of the makeup drawer. Like I can't can't see myself reaching for this every day. I can't see myself actually wanting to use this every day. One thing I love about Chanel always is the embossings, because their embossings are always 10 out of 10 gorgeous, but this embossing would have rubbed off in like 3 uses, especially because I heard that these were a little bit more sheer. So you would have had to really get in there and like swirl around to get any sort of pigment on the brush. So that would have ruined the embossing even faster. And also the fact that they threw in this tiny little half crescent brush just as a parting favor. I feel like Chanel really, for the price they're charging, they could give you a full-size brush. Am I crazy? Like, I feel like when you get into this level of expensive for makeup, they should just be giving you free stuff with your purchase. Like a free blush brush should come along with this, not this little tiny cheap, it looks like the Physicians Formula brushes that they put in their packaging. Like if Physicians Formula is doing a similar brush to you and you are Chanel and you're charging like 10 times the price, we need to rethink that. Okay, I literally did not remember this. I looked through my Yasser passes from this time and I believe I did talk about this, but like, oh my God, this is so funny. I completely forgot about this. This is I feel like a lot of influencer brands I forgot this year. I feel like I wasn't keeping tabs on that as much as I normally am. Like I really was not into it this year, but this is the Nikita Dragun birthday collection. I completely forgot about this eyeshadow palette. Like did not know that this existed in the same universe that I did. It was the one that had the egg pan. Honestly, I actually don't think this is like a super ugly palette. I just don't like it. I don't like the packaging, number one. I don't like that it's like a picture of sort of like an anime Nikita with like the bandage over the nose. I don't really love that. I feel like for a birthday collection, it would have been cool if it was like birthday. Like I feel like the cake that they propped the palette up against is better marketing than the actual eyeshadow palette itself. I just don't understand the packaging on this, but I will say, and I don't like the egg shape. I know that it's like the dragon egg is like the concept that she has ran with her brand, but I just hate it. But I actually like don't despise this color story. It's like okay. It's like a small, concise brights palette. I do feel like looking especially at the swatches, I think that the shimmers look pretty lackluster. I think instead of having that like bright white shimmer shade, it would have been better to have something that was just like another transition shade, because only having that bright pink and that black, it really limits to what you can actually achieve with a look. Like it really limits creativity. Even if it was just like a deeper like pink tone, like a fuchsia, I think that would have looked a lot better than that like really bright white. Or instead of just like that lilac, I guess either or. I think it's the sort of weird proportions that are throwing me off in this palette, because you have like a really dark shade, 2 really light shades, and then 2 like medium shades. And just the way they're laid out is not working with my eyes at all. I think that's one of the reasons I forgot it too, is because it just like wasn't an aesthetically pleasing palette. You know, we just talk about pretty things. This is something that I look at and I'm like, this doesn't do anything for me. Like this is someone's vibe, it's not mine. And honestly, I forgot about Dragun Beauty in general this year. I feel like I cannot think of another launch that Nikita Dragun has done this year. I remember the first few from like 2020. I think most of them fall into the category of like shit I forgot about. I also am confused about why she put out with the like lip products that go with the palette, that go with this birthday themed collection. I actually like the look of the clear gloss and the sort of like milky pinky gloss. Why would you not go with like a hot pink liquid lipstick that matches the hot pink in the palette? Why would you go with this like orangey shimmer? I feel like that's like they're even a hot pink gloss. That's something I would love to see. And that's very on brand for Nikita, like a really hot pink, super pigmented lip gloss. That would have been so cool with this birthday collection. It actually would have like matched everything and like made sense. Just make it pink. If you're gonna do a pink collection, just go pink. I don't get it. Okay, next. I cannot believe this was real still to this day. One of the products in this picture is actually going to fall into the worst makeup of 2020 for me. So I'm gonna save my opinions on that product for that video. But I completely forgot that Marc Jacobs released these like tortoise shell weird face palettes. Like this was not, I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering correctly, they launched these face palettes and then they almost immediately put them on sale. Like I'm 99% sure that that is what happened. This was like terrible as a launch. Like I can't believe, I'm not surprised that it like immediately went on sale. This was like a terrible launch. It was sad because the concealer actually was like, I saw people getting really hyped about it and I saw people being like, oh my God, this looks so cool. Like a cool complexion product launch from Marc Jacobs. Like, I remember that, but then I don't remember at all what people thought about these. I know that I talked about these. I don't even remember what I said because it's like, this was so a nothing launch to me. It wasn't bad enough that it went down in like infamy of being a terrible launch, but it definitely was not good in any way. I think the most confusing part about this to me is they made it into like a trio, but the way they set this up makes it like unusable for the consumer. Like if you have a bronzer brush you're trying to get in the middle there, you are absolutely going to get blush and highlighter on that. The bronzer is basically not usable, and once you start mixing all of those different powders in the pan, there's no way to like undo that. Like if you get a bunch of this highlighter in your bronzer, congratulations, now you have a sparkly gold bronzer, which doesn't sound like a bad thing, but it's certainly not what you signed up for when you got this product. Like what? I don't understand the design thought process on this, just like functionally. This product makes me feel like the people who work at Marc Jacobs don't use makeup. Like functionally, that is how I feel about this, because I don't see a way you could use this, especially that middle bronzer shade, without getting it all messed up. And also, just on top of that, like a little cherry on top of this, I think that the packaging is really ugly. I really hate the, like, I know it's supposed to look like coffee mixed with creamer, like a marbly. I hate this. It's just not aesthetically pleasing. This is like, again, same thing with Nikita's. It's somebody's vibe, not mine. Like this is not at all my vibe. Oh my God, next, this Blockbuster. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you a secret? I don't mean to be annoying. So Netflix, I think it was Netflix, some streaming service put out this documentary that was like the last Blockbuster, and it was all about like the last Blockbuster that exists. And like I was around and kicking when Blockbuster was a big thing. Like Dad would take me and my sister a couple times a week. We'd get one video. Usually it was like a switch off of who got to pick, because you know, when you have siblings you just argue a lot. So, but I remember they made this movie about the last Blockbuster, and it was full of like, they tried to make it this really like emotional thing. Like they tried to like spin it like Blockbuster was some sort of like, it's just a chain that died. It's like all other chains that died. It's like Sears. It's like all of these chains are just dying because they couldn't evolve, and like Blockbuster did too. And like, it's cool that there's like a last one, but they had this weird part in the movie where they handed all of the people who they had been interviewing, like sort of like the talking heads of it, they handed all of them this empty Blockbuster like case that one of the movies would come in. And I remember some of the people got really into it. Like one guy was like smelling it, and I was like, what is going on? And then the other guy, this movie was wild. It made no sense to me. This other guy, you could tell when they handed it to him, he had no emotion about it, because it's like an old empty thing that a videotape comes in, and he's like, yeah, Blockbuster was cool, but like, it was so weird. I don't understand the obsession with the last, maybe I just wasn't old enough yet, because I was kind of young, but like I don't get the obsession with the Blockbuster thing. That movie was so strange to me. Anyway, Hot Topic came out with a Blockbuster eyeshadow palette. I literally did not remember this until I saw this picture, and then I remembered how hyped people were for this. But looking at the color story, I'm not sure why people were so hyped for it. Actually, just knowing that it was Hot Topic makeup, I don't understand why people were so hyped for it. The thing that sucks about Hot Topic makeup is they have really cool palettes. Like their color stories can be really cool. They have really cool themes because they have a lot of licensing to stuff that other makeup brands don't have. So they have these really cool retro themed or like, you know, Marvel themed, like they have cool themes to their eyeshadow palettes. Their formula is just absolutely terrible. Like it's very rare that I say makeup is unusable, especially eyeshadow, because you can really, if you like can pack something up, you can make most makeup work for you if you like know the right techniques. I would argue all the Hot Topic palettes I've ever tried are like actually just unusable. Like I can't use them. Like they don't have any pigment, they don't blend, they don't work well. The Blockbuster theme is not a bad idea, but like why Hot Topic? And also just looking at the color story, I think that's why I forgot about it. I think had this been a really cool color story that actually went with the theme of Blockbuster, like I'm glad they have the gold and blue in there, but I feel like there was another way to go other than just the gold, the blue, and then all of these like weird neutrals on one side and then like light blues and light greens on the other side. I feel like had this been a truly like iconic palette. Almost honestly, had they just made the palette smaller. I get they wanted to make it the same size as like a videotape, but I feel like that first row without the brown at the end, where it's just the gold, the blue, the white, the black, and the sort of creamy color, I feel like that's actually kind of a solid color story. Like, and it fits the theme of Blockbuster. Like, that makes sense to me. It's when you add in, like, even if I block all of the other things out right now, it's like, yeah, that checks out. Everything else around it is like what I think makes it so weird and dull. And I think that's why I didn't really remember this, was because it was like, it could have been a really cool theme and I could have been super into it, but it was just so meh and bleh. Okay. Colourpop could have been on this list 1,000 times. They put out so much stuff that there was so much Colourpop that I was like, what? But I tried to pick one that not only do I like not remember this happening, there was a brief period of time in 2021 where I was on their PR list and I wanted to pick something that I am 99% sure I actually got in PR and still completely forgot about, and that is the Colourpop Bambi collection. When the fuck did Bambi get a makeup collab? When did this happen? Like, I genuinely saw this and I was like, what? Like, when? I know they do a lot of Disney stuff, but Bambi? They did Bambi? Like, and then I thought about it more. I like went through my brain. I was like, wait, Bambi? Like, this should just tell you the grotesque amount of makeup that Colourpop puts out. Because the fact that I was on their PR list, I'm 90% sure I got this palette, and I literally don't remember, one, owning it, and two, giving it away, and three, this launch at all. Like, I don't remember this Bambi launch in the slightest. I have no recollection of like when this happened, what happened. I was looking at these like colors and stuff. I was like, when did this happen? Like, what is this? Ultimately, I think it's just because it's kind of just like, especially considering Colourpop, this was kind of a meh collection given all of the other collaborations they did this year. Like, they did the Powerpuff Girls, they did, I shouldn't say collaborations, but it kind of was. They did like, they worked with intellectual properties. They did the Powerpuff Girls, they did Lizzie McGuire, they did Animal Crossing. Like, given all of those really big ones that I feel like were really recognizable, and while I didn't love all of them, like, at least I knew they were happening because it was such a big hype. I do not remember a single soul talking about, even though I'm pretty sure I did, I don't remember ever talking about this Bambi palette or this Bambi collection. It's so lost on me. Like, also, Bambi is such a sad movie. I can't watch it. It makes me way too sad. I can't get past the first 30 seconds. It makes me want to cry. This was my one pick from Colourpop of like truly no recollection, no memory, not a clue. Nothing. There's nothing up in my brain right now when I'm thinking about what this was. I have no idea. Okay, next. This is a great example again of one that I desperately wanted at the time, and I'm glad I didn't buy because I didn't remember this existed. Este Lauder put out one of their Rebellious Rose blushes. I wanted this because it was pretty. It's the same thing as the Chanel blush. Like, I truly just wanted this because the embossing was beautiful. I'm normally not in love with the Estee Lauder packaging, but I thought that this one in particular was so bougie, so chic, like really called to me. I'm glad I didn't buy this. Again, would have just been a really overpriced blush that, like, when you take the embossing off is not that special. Like, it just is a blush. I actually think this formula probably would have been better because I do know that Estee Lauder historically makes really good quality products. So I think that would have at least been a win. And I don't doubt that I would have used this at least a little bit, but this is a great example of something for like 2 days. I constantly would look at this blush and be like, oh my God, should I buy it? Should I not buy it? And then I didn't because I just simply forgot. I should really start applying. I already have this rule with myself that if it's past midnight, I don't buy anything online because I make the stupidest purchases at 2 in the morning. I should start doing like a I need to wait 3 days to purchase anything I want rule because I feel like that would be really helpful for me because like I really remember loving this and lusting after it, but when I saw it on Trendmood, I was like, oh my God, you. Okay, this one. When did Kendall and Kim come out with perfumes? I truly feel like the KKW fragrance stuff, first of all, I think that they put way more thought into the fragrances than they do into the makeup because basically all of Kim and honestly mostly Kylie's stuff this year, I could not tell you what they launched, like, except that it was probably neutral. Like, I could, especially Kim, couldn't tell you what they launched, like, truly could not remember. I do remember, though, that Kim put out some kind of interesting perfume collaborations this year. There was ones that looked like little pots, like, just kind of interesting stuff that I was like, okay, like, that's kind of cool. But I just feel like she puts out a lot of perfume. Like, I feel like the KKW fragrance, like, selection is massive, especially given how long the brand actually has been around. I feel like with most fragrance kind of branches of makeup company, I'm used to them launching a fragrance like slowly, especially like the sort of name brand ones. Like I feel like I don't ever really see Dior coming out with a crazy new perfume except like once a year when Jennifer Lawrence is the campaign star for it. But with KKW, they've almost adopted this like fast fashion model of perfume with these constant collaborations with her sisters, these constant collaborations with like actual designers. And this one is one that I was like, when? I don't remember this at all. When did they do this? I think I'm more mad because I actually like it. Normally I kind of rag on the KKW perfumes because I'm just like not super into them. I will say I wouldn't recommend buying them. When they first launched those like sweetheart ones, very first Valentine's Day, they launched those heart-shaped ones. My mom actually bought them for me as a Valentine's Day gift because she is the sweetest human being alive. And while I didn't mind them, the scent definitely does not linger. And for the price point you're paying, you could get a much better perfume at that price point that the scent's gonna linger. It's gonna be a more unique scent. The scents are pretty generic and the lasting time is not great. But I will say, like, out of a lot of her launches, I actually really like this one. I hated the one she did with like Courtney and Chloe forever ago. This one actually feels like it fits Kendal's aesthetic really well. I like the bottle shape. I feel like the colors together look beautiful. I'm more just like surprised. I'm like, wait, she put out something number one, I actually think is good, and number two, it's with Kendal, and I had no idea. This one is interesting because this is one that, again, if I'm remembering correctly, it's a lot of blushes this year. I had a lot of love for blush this year, and I'm glad I didn't sort of pull the trigger on all of them because apparently I forgot them, but this is one that I remember being like, oh, maybe I'll buy this, like this is kind of cute, and then the thought went into my head of like, maybe you'll buy that, and then it left my head immediately, and I never thought of these again. That is the Dominique Cosmetics Cream Blushes. This is no shade to Christian Dominique or Dominique Cosmetics because I love the brand. I've always said I really like the brand. I just feel like the reason this one would kind of get left behind in people's brains is because number one, I feel like Dominique Cosmetics is not as sort of mainstream as other influencer brands. I think a lot of people know about it, but I just don't think that it's as like in everyone's faces as when other influencers launch. And I'm not sure why that is because I actually think the products are really great. The eyeshadow palettes especially are beautiful. They blend so well and the shimmers are great. So I think because they don't get a lot of hype, that's one reason. But I also think just because this year, like the year of 2021, I feel like there was a huge rise in cream blushes. It was like the spilling over from the cream blush phase from 2020. Like cream blush is everywhere. All of these brands are putting it out. And I feel like these cream blushes in particular, they're not anything like crazy unique or different. And they're not coming from a brand that gets like a ton of hype on social media. So I think that's just why I forgot about it. I wasn't really seeing it all the time the way that I was seeing, like, for example, the Rare Beauty cream blushes. It's like a great example of a blush I saw everywhere. The e.l.f. putty blushes, I saw those everywhere, so I was constantly being reminded of them, whereas this one was kind of like, meh, it's another cream blush, and from a brand I'm like, meh, don't really see it often. It really shows you kind of the power of like social media marketing. Obviously I know some people like bought this, loved it, remembered it, and like whatever, but I feel like with social media marketing, it's like if products are not being kind of constantly shoved in your face and you're not constantly being reminded, this is a good example of like you can see something, but if you're not reminded that it exists every now and again, you're not gonna really think to like go and buy it, you know? Did anybody else miss this one? Are you guys missing the same ones that I'm missing, or am I like an anomaly here? I feel like, especially because I do like the Yas or Pas stuff, I feel like I'm like low-key at least on it of like what's being launched. I know what's being launched. I know like what's happening a little bit. I check Trend Mood often, and this completely escaped me. Like not even a clue that this was something that was out. Okay, we have two more. This. What the fuck? When I saw this picture, I remembered this. I wish I hadn't. Please stop naming things after sex. I don't want a giant perfume that has sex in bold letters. I don't want that. Like, I don't want something that says better than sex plastered all over it. The thing that kills me about this is this bottle, I hate it like a lot. Like this is not, again, not my vibe, like at all. This is not my style of perfume bottle. All of the floral fuckery on it looks plastic. Like this is not my vibe. I feel like a lot of people buy perfumes to sort of display. Like I feel like I have a little display on my dresser over there. Like I feel like when you're buying a perfume that's a little bit more expensive, the packaging is sort of a component of that because it's something you're keeping out that you can grab really quickly. People are probably gonna see it if they come into this room, and it's something that you wanna like have easily accessible, so it kind of has to be out because you're like grabbing it on the the go as you're leaving the house. Or if you're like me, going from one side of the room to the other, because I don't leave this room. So when I see this, like, I would never want to display something that just said better than sex in bold font on it. Like, I would never want something like this sitting on my vanity. I don't even really care what it smells like. I just cannot imagine the appeal of having something that says that sitting on my vanity. Like, I literally cannot imagine that. I get why Too Faced is sort of trying to diversify in the skincare and perfume sectors of the beauty world, because it's obviously just smart to do so. Like, it's smart to diversify your brand. It's smart to have different types of products. Huda Beauty recently did it too. I love that perfume that Huda Beauty put out. It's freaking amazing. And like, that's a great example of packaging that actually is like aesthetically pleasing. It's still part of their brand, but it's not like right in your face. They basically just took the tacky packaging that normally is like put in your drawer and put it on a perfume bottle for you to display. I think what kills me too is they have so many food themed products that they could have really like taken that and run. Like, they could have done a chocolate perfume that had like notes of like coffee and chocolate. They could have had, I'm not a perfume person, I don't know what the notes would have been. They could have had a peach perfume. Like, they could have done so much with this food theme that they are very well known for. And for some reason, they pick the one product that's all about sex and are like, yeah, that's what we're gonna put in a perfume bottle. Oh my God. I wish I didn't remember this one. This is like one of my least favorite things from Too Faced. This is up there with Glow Job, the Glow Job face mask. Like, this is up there with that. I really hate this. Okay, finally, the last makeup product that I honestly forgot about, and I was actually very surprised, but also low-key felt like I was on the right side of the internet, is the Jeffree Star Pricked palette. I did not even know that this launched. I had not a clue that this launched. Like, truly, I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, I don't know what this is. Like, I literally am like, when did this happen? The last palette launch I remember was the cremated palette. And then I do vaguely remember the religion one. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called Religion. I remember the religion one, but this one, I'm like, this is basically just blood sugar, right? Like, this is basically just the blood sugar palette, like a slightly deeper version, I guess, of blood sugar, but not even, because there's still a bunch of like pastel pink shades and like stuff like that. I'm very confused by this one. I'm confused by the circle. I'm confused by why it needed a handle as if it was like a handbag. Is there like a storage component to it where you can actually use it as a handbag? Very confused about that. Confused about 90% of this palette. Like, I just don't understand. The color story is not bad. It's just like overdone. Like, it's warm tone neutrals. I feel like Jeffree Star Cosmetics used to be very well known for its very unique color stories, and this is not. This is just, I mean, this is basically modern renaissance. Yeah, it's basically a modern renaissance. Like, it's very similar to other very warm tone neutrals that have came and gone. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's like, for Jeffree Star, he already has this palette. He has blood sugar palette. Also, why is it called Pricked? And why is there a lobster in one of the shades? Wow, I have a lot of questions, but I don't want any of the answers. So yeah, forgot about that one too. And that's gonna be it from me. Make sure you let me know in the comments down below what stuff you guys completely forgot about. Scroll through Trend Mood, take a second, go do it. It was kind of fun to like walk down memory lane, because there's obviously other stuff I like kind of forgot about, but these were the ones that really I completely forgot about. And also let me know if there's anything that you thought you were gonna be like obsessed with this year that you were never gonna stop thinking about, that you were gonna save for, and then it completely left your brain. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to check out my vlog channel, where I'll be posting daily vlogs every day in the month of December, hopefully. And also check out my limited edition Glomus merch that will be linked down below, along with my social justice spotlight that will have a lot of links and resources to places you can give back this holiday season. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!